Hello faculties and students, welcome to GATEtutor. So in previous video we have seen how to create and assign local coding test and also global coding test. Now I will show you how to attempt local coding test. So I am Sachin Bodke, let's get towards the demo. So here I have created a coding test, that means I have added the configuration of the coding test. Here I have selected the domain as algorithm, subdomain as mathematics, and I have selected 3 coding questions. So all of the flow I have explained in the previous 2 videos. You can just watch those and understand how all of these things work. Here right now it's 6, 16, 15, okay. So I'll just make it 16, 6, 16. Okay, it will get started. I have explained the assessment integrity, this section in very precisely in our previous video. You can just check those videos to understand how these features work. I have just ticked all of these and I'll just create the coding test. Okay, make it 17. Okay, let me just create the test. The test is created. So here I will just apply the coding test filter. I can see the coding test here. I'll just click on the attempt button, assign button. Here I'll select both. I'll select all of the users and I will assign the test. You can select any one user if you want to, but I have selected all of the users. And so this test is assigned to the self. That means the creator of this test is GATEtutor faculty, and we have assigned this test to him also. Here the GATEtutor faculty, I have assigned this test to this faculty. Now we will move towards the test center of this particular faculty. Here in this bottom right corner we can see, bottom left corner we can see there is a test center. Here I can see the local coding test is here, but if you can't find that test, you can just apply the coding test filter and you can see the coding test is at the top. Now this test is started. I'll just click on attempt this test. These are important instructions, you should read those. I have read them, so I don't need to read them. Here what this test is actually about, how many questions are there, what's the time of the test, and what's the test window. You can see these here. These are the basic information about how to start and attempt the test. What are the rules in the test, we will see those. These are very important. I am repeating that you should read these instructions, because in some of the test we have taken previously, some users are facing issues, and in our support we are seeing that they are saying that they got disqualified due to some reasons. But in the instruction page we have explained very clearly that what are the rules, and if user violates those rules they will get disqualified. So I'll just confirm I have read these instructions, and I'll just begin the test. Now the test is started in the full screen, because if you remember that I have checked full screen mode, so the test is always going to start in full screen mode. So this is the basic structure of here we can, at the top we can see the test name. The first question right now is reverse integer, which has medium difficulty. This is the basic configuration of the question. This is the description of the question. These are the example input and outputs. What is the input given and what is the expected output from it. These are the examples which you can see. This is the constraint, time and space complexity should be according to that. Here we have first question is reverse integer, and default language is generally Python, but you can just switch this language to anyone, whichever you prefer. Here I have switched it to Java. Okay, here are the test cases. There are 6 test cases which are visible to the user. That means these are public test cases, but in the background we have private test cases which are not shown to the user, but while giving the marks, or while when user submits the test, the code gets run against those test cases and user gets evaluated based on that. User's code get evaluated based on the test cases output. So here I'll just click on the run just to show you what happens. Here I am running the code. Okay, there are two test cases which are passed because we can see here we are returning 0 by default. So these test cases expect output as 0, that's why they are getting 0. Now we'll move to the next question. Here we have count subarrays with some divisible by k. So here I can switch the language back to anything, maybe C. If anyone wants to attempt the question in C, they can just attempt the question in C, but if you want to attempt in Python, you can see here we have selected Python again. So I'll just run this test, run this question again. Here the basic structure remains same. Question, take a code editor, and these are the test cases preview. Okay, now let's move to the last question. This is the sum of square question. If 3 questions are in the test and it is assigned to multiple users, that questions get shuffled. Mostly they get shuffled because one user has first question as reverse integer, the another user get first question as sum of squares. So there is no issue with that. So at the top we have how much time is remaining, number of questions, and you can just select this question to go back to the previous question. Here we can see the difficulty of the question. Okay, now let me show you how the integrity works in this system. So what scenarios are there on which user could get disqualified. So if I try to just exit the full screen mode here, so I get warning like this that this test is meant to be in full screen, and we are seeing this issue because you have exited the full screen. And here I get one warning that you have exited the full screen and you have remaining 2 warnings. If user gets 3 warning, then the test will get disqualified for the user. So here I'll try to click Control C. So if I try to click Control C to copy any of this code, and if I try to paste it, then I will get disqualified because I tried to copy the code and paste the code. That means the user got 2 warnings, one is to copy, one is to paste. So continue. Now user is disqualified, but that doesn't mean they can't attempt the test again. So if they call the faculty who has created the test, the faculty can just go to their test setting environment, click on the view created coding test. Here the test is visible, and here they got a breach rule. That means this user is disqualified. Here I can see that both, because this is faculty, I can see that in faculty or both. I can just click here and resume the test, but let me just show you how what's the actual insights from the test. Here I am using here that one user has attempted the test and he got disqualified from the test. Here all the information about the user is shown, at what time they have tried to attempt. Your examiner review is pending because we haven't checked what he did in the exam. Okay, so here the time user spent is 4 minutes, and this is the timeline of user, what user did during this exam. So user first tried to exit the full screen, which we did, and 2 times we tried to copy and paste. That's why there will be 3 warnings and user got disqualified. Here that user, faculty can verify these insights with the students or whoever has attempted that test, so they can just confirm that this result is authentic. But if they think that this was a mistake, they can just dismiss this breach rules and warnings, then they won't attempt appear in their results. So here these are the 3 questions which user has attempted, and this was the length while they have submitted the test. These are the insights that we have tried to run 2 codes language switches 3 times, and time spent in during that is 97 seconds. These are the question. At what question we did what? At reverse question we tried to switch language once. Time spent on that question is 60 seconds. So these are the, you can just explore these things. But if I just, but now if I want to give the user allow, want to allow the user to attempt the test again, I will just move to the view create a test. Here I can see the test is available. I will just move here, click on faculties, breach rule. Here I can see that user. I just click on this and resume. I have granted the resume to this user. Now let me show you another feature, which is a link. You can just copy the test link, go to new tab and paste the link. Here, if I start this, if I paste this link, the test will get opened in the new tab. Here it's showing how much time is remaining, and I will just open. There is showing all the information again. You can just read it because you are got disqualified. That means you haven't read the instructions properly. Now I'll just click on I confirm that, and I'll just begin the test. The test is started again. That means we have allowed the user to start the test again. Test was initially of 50 minutes. Now it's of previously it was for 60 minutes. Right now user got only 49 minutes. So here user has to attempt all the questions again. So I'll just attempt this question. I'm just fast forwarding this. I'm just clicking on the run button. I'm not properly attempting this question, but you should attempt this question properly because it's important for evaluation. Here I have ran 2 questions. Okay, all the question I have run. Then I will just click on the submit button. I have just submitted the exam. This is my overall score of the exam, what I did and what I didn't. I haven't solved any of the question, that's why it's showing that. And my session has ended, but there is no issue with this. You can just go to your, you can just click on view results and you can view the results here. Yeah, it's loading. Let me just go back to our dashboard, test center, and here I can see the result. Okay, I got 4 out of 100. That's pretty low. Here we have all the evaluation per question. This was the first question which had these test cases, and user hadn't submitted any code because user haven't write any code. Has not written any code. We will go back to the dashboard. Now in this video we saw how to attempt a local coding test, what's the integrity, and how it is evaluated, right? And also we saw that how faculty can monitor any user's actions from their tab. Now in the next video we will see how to attempt global coding test. See you soon. Thank you.